Let's try this again, everybody. Hopefully everyone can go ahead and get on track quickly. Well, I've got more than 4 drivers coming out of the pits here, so it looks like we are successful. So let's go ahead and introduce everybody in the Pro-Am lobby tonight. We've got Rosario out in front in the 911. We got Method in the Renault. We got Mr. Williams here in 911 as well, followed closely behind by Jenny in the Flying Fox Lexus. Bottle-fed Mustang, not in a Mustang. He's going to be in a Mercedes here tonight. We got SoCal in the Flying Fox Aston. Nosfox getting a little squirrely back there in the Mustang. Sweaty Palms coming in the FT86 concept. We got Tinsley in a P9. Stack and Yak making an appearance in the GTR here. We got BPR Merch. He's going to be running one of the Mazda concepts. And we got Mr. Weeklip in the 911 here as well. Looks like drivers starting to find a little bit of space between each other here as they get ready to start their first hot laps in the qualifier. Rosario sitting out in front. We'll stay on board with Rosario as he comes to the final series of corners here and onto the front straightaway. He's going to be the first one to start his hot lap here tonight. I think the comment in the chat we were having a little bit more static, so once again, oh no, Sooner, it's still a Spicy Beetle, but I'll make you a deal. I'll call it a 911 the entire race if you hit the follow button. Otherwise, it's going to be Rosario and the Spicy Beetle all night. We got Method sitting in at P2 in the Renault. He's starting his hot laps, and now we got Mr. Williams in the 911 as well. He's sitting down in P3. A little bit of space between him and Jenny. Jenny wanting a little bit of space as well in the Lexus there. It's interesting to see what the first of the Pro-Am lap times are going to be. Does anybody in the chat remember what the pole position lap time was from the AM race? There's so much action that happened, I barely remember the beginning of it anymore. Let's go ahead and let's pop on board with Rosario as he comes out of the tow here. I thought you were. I took a stab at it. Appreciate you nonetheless. Rosario coming into the heel. He's going to be the first one to start the final series of corners here. He's going to be the first one to set a hot lap. Rosario out of the final hairpin. Through the penultimate here now. Rosario and Method running wide, using every bit of track that's afforded to him. Rosario's going to cross the line. First hot lap's going to be a 1:45.6. Method's going to go ahead and take that pole position back with a 1:45.2. Williams is going to set a 1:45.7. We got Jenny with a 1:46 flat. SoCal with a 1:46.4. Tinsley coming in with a 1:45.4. That's going to be good enough for P2 for right now. And Sweaty with a 1:45.5. That's going to knock Rosario down to P4. He's going to go ahead and take up a P3. The bottle fed with 1:45.6 going to be good enough for 5th place. Williams getting knocked down into 6th with that 1:45.7. Got Nosfox with 1:45.9. Jenny, that 1:46 flat, getting knocked down into 8th. SoCal, 1:46.4 is going to be good enough for 9th. Stacking Yak, 1:46.5. Not far off SoCal there. He's bringing home P10 right now. We got Weeklip, 1:47.5 and P11. We got Merch picking up a penalty down to P12 to 150, having a little bit of an issue on his first hot lap there. So Method out in front with the fast lap right now with a 1:45.2. Tinsley 0.2 of a second behind off of that one there. Rosario's going to be the first one to finish the second hot lap though. I'm going to hop back on board with him for just a little bit here. Let's see if he's going to go purple here through the next sector. So Rosario out of the heel. Through the hairpin. He's getting ready to cross that third sector line. 0.4 purple. He is absolutely pushing the 911. See if he's going to hold on to it here. Rosario keeps it clean through the final corner as he comes onto the front straightaway now. Rosario 0.4 of a second up through the last sector. He's going to go the 145 flat, losing a little bit of time there. So Method with a 145.2, nearly an identical time there. So Rosario taking away the provisional pole from Method. Tinsley getting knocked down into P3. We got Method dropping down to P4. Sweaty the 145.2 now, making his way up into P2. Tinsley chomping at the bit also with the 145.2. We got Method with the 145.2. NLR Williams with 145.5. Bottlefed with 145.6. Stack with 145.8. Nosfox 145.9. Jenny that 146 flat. Still her fast lap right now. She's sitting in P10. We got SoCal with 146.4. Good enough for P11. And Merch still rounding out our grid. Finding a little bit of an issue here with qualifying at 153. Having to serve a penalty on his last lap. 4 minutes left in this qualifying. Still enough time for him to get a couple laps down. Now Rosario picking up a half-second penalty back along the line here somewhere. Rosario currently sitting on provisional pole. Serves the penalty. A little bit of a late move from Rosario there. Pretty sure he was trying to give Method the inside. Method, though, trying to have the inside for himself there. But Method does make his way around in front of Rosario. No issues there. Rosario still sitting on provisional pole at that 145 flat. But Method's going to be the first one to cross the line through here. Method with that 145.2 still good enough for fourth place. Let's see if he's going to be able to capitalize on this. Method with 144.5 is going to take that provisional pole back from Rosario. Rosario having served that penalty is going to finish with 147. Sweaty Palms making his way up to P3 with a 145.2. Tinsley with a 145.2 sitting in a P4. We've got Williams in a P5 with a 145.5 yet. And Bottlefed 0.002 of a second off of Williams there in P6. We've got Wieglip sitting in P7, 145.6. Stackenyak with a 145.8 now, making his way up to P8. Nosfox P9, 145.9. Jenny still not able to get any faster than 146 she had on her first flying lap. SoCal dropping P11 and Merch in P12 for right now. Method with an absolute heater to 144.5. Sitting on provisional pole. He's got 4.10 separating him and Rosario right now. Let's hop on board with Rosario here as we get ready to cross this next sector line. Let's see what kind of time he's laying down for this lap. Out of the heel, up here through the final hairpin. Crossing the sector line, he's not bettering his time. Change. It looks like Method's still sitting on provisional pole. Rosario still sitting in at P2 for right now. It does go a little bit better, but not good enough to take that pole position back. Let's hop on board with Sweaty here. Sweaty comes out of the final corner here. Sweaty losing a little bit of time there, 145.7, nearly half a second off of his fast lap time. Still good enough for P3. He's 13 hundredths of a second off of Tinsley, who's sitting down in P4. 12 hundredths of a second off of Stackenyak. Stackenyak only a 10th off of Bottlefed, who's a 10th off of Williams. Nosfox in P9 now with 145.9. We still got Jenny, 145.9 as well, starting to find a little bit more pace in the Lexus there. SoCal with 146.1, able to find a little bit more pace in the Flying Fox Aston as well. So 1.5 seconds separating top 11 drivers. Birch having a little bit of an issue throughout qualifying here, but it is a 1 hour race where anything can happen. Method getting a little squirrely now as he comes out of the toe there. Still over 0.3 of a second ahead, sitting on pole position. Final laps here for everybody as we cross 10-minute mark. So Method sitting on provisional pole. We're going to check in with Rosario here again as he gets ready to cross that sector line. Rosario is 2.5 down here. We're not going to be able to capitalize, so hopefully he's going to be able to hold on to P2 throughout the rest of the race. Who is getting ready to cross the next. Looks like we've got a bottle fed here. GLEN making his way up into P3, knocking Sweaty off down into P4. 0.05 of a second separating GLEN and Sweaty Palms. And then Tinsley coming in taking P3 with a 1:45 flat. Knocking GLEN down into P4 and Sweaty into P5. Got Yak in P6. Bottle fed in a P7. We still have a couple drivers finishing out their hot laps here, so we still could have some changes in position. Let's see what's going to happen. Williams holding on to P8. Go ahead and we'll have a look at the qualifying results here. So Method P1, Rosario P2, Tinsley in a P3. We got GLEN in P4, Sweaty to start in P5 tonight. Victory Pace Racing, Stackenyak going to start in P6. Got Bottle Fed down P7. Mr. Williams going to show up in a P8. We've got Nosfox P9, SoCal in P10, Jenny in the Flying Fox Lexus P11. We've got Merch from Victory Pace Racing P12. And Petey unable to qualify. I have to set the grid. Actually, no, I don't have to set the grid. He'll start last. Works out great. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to light this candle, everybody. Don't you go anywhere. Stay tuned. Yes, here we go. Pro-Am race is about to kick off. Like I said earlier, 5 lights on. When they're out, drivers will be off. We do have false starts here. Let's see if anyone's going to get caught out. Still waiting for the lights. Here we go. Hey, they held the lights long there. Looks like Method's going to go ahead and get himself a great start right there. We got Tinsley making his way up at P2, Rosario in a P3. All drivers hard on the anchors there. Method still out in front. Tinsley in P2. Rosario defending off of Method. They're sitting in, or I'm sorry, Sweaty. They're in a P3. Sweaty sitting down in a P4. SoCal making his way up into P5. Bottle Fed in P6. You got Williams not far behind, sitting there in P7. Jenny trying to take the inside line there along Nosfox. She's sitting in a P8 right now. She's going to make that move stick. She's going to get right on the bumper of Williams right there. Nosfox down on P9, running a little bit wide there, eating some grass. Going to go side by side with Jenny there as we start to rub doors a little bit with everybody. Jenny 3 wide as we get ready to come into the bus stop. Looks like they decided to think better of it. Jenny's going to go ahead and settle for P8. Nosfox down into P9. Woo! 3 wide into the bus stop. Nosfox down into P9. Stackenyak watching the action unfold down in P10. Right in front of him there. Merch down in a P11. GLEN dropping down in P12 right now. Let's go check back in with the rest of the field now. Method running away a little bit here. A little bit under a second ahead of Tinsley. Tinsley down in P2. Rosario now under pressure from Sweaty Palms. Let's hop on board with Sweaty Palms here as he's right on the bumper. He's going to make a move along the inside here as they get ready to come into the heel. Both drivers hard on the anchors. They're going to go side by side here. Sweaty leaving the room along the outside for Rosario. He is going to make his way up into P3. Rosario is going to slot in behind there. It's a great move from Sweaty, taking the inside line through the heel. He's going to make his way up into P3 and knock Rosario down into P4. Bottlefed holding on to P5. SoCal dropping down into P6. You got Jenny making the move there. She made her way up into P7, getting around Nosfox there, dropping him down into P8. Now Nosfox starting to come under pressure from Stackenyak. Yak making his way up into P9. Williams dropping down into P10. We got Merch in a P11. Once again, incredible action happening throughout the first lap of this race now as we've got Nosfox chomping with Jenny. Jenny running a little bit wide there through the 90. Nosfox coming alongside. We're going to have a drag race here up through the S's. Nosfox taking the inside line for the first part. Jenny having the inside line through the second half here. The Jenny slots in behind. Nosfox has a look along the inside. Nosfox dives over to protect the inside line. Jenny sliding into the slipstream there. Not going to be able to make a move happen here coming into the bus stop. Looks like she's going to slot in behind, trying to make a move happen somewhere else, staying all over the bumper of Nosfox there. Meanwhile, Stackenyak just sitting behind MP9, watching it all unfold in front of him here. Let's hop back up front with Front Runner, see what's going on. We've got Method starting out on soft tires, starting to run away from Tinsley on the medium tires there. Tinsley with a 1 second gap either side of him. We got Rosario sitting in P3, still under pressure from Sweaty there. Sweaty losing that P3. The incredible back and forths from so many drivers here already tonight. Sweaty not able to get the exit out of the corner that he was wanting to, like he did on the last lap. So he's going to have to settle for P4 throughout the rest of this one here and have a go here on the next one. We got Bottlefed sitting down in a P5 for right now, not far behind off of those two drivers either. Now it looks like we're going to have a three-way battle for P3 happening already. Sweaty keeping a little bit further inside line there, still keeps it tucked up behind Rosario. Now he's got Bottlefed coming up right onto his bumper there. Bottlefed gets an incredible exit out of the final corner there, up onto the back straightaway. He's getting a lot of slipstream there from Sweaty. He's going to try to make a move along the inside here. I don't think he is. It doesn't look like it. He's going to be a little bit smarter than that one. He's going to try to make his move a little bit later on in the lap here, still staying all over the bumper of Sweaty Palms though. Let's go ahead and let's check in with this backpack right here. We've got Nosfox sitting in P6, defending against everybody else with SoCal making his way up into P7, knocking Jenny down into P8. Stackenyak still sitting in P9. Williams still sitting in P10. We've got Wieglip in 11. Then we got Merch running a little wide there out of the S's, it looks like, having a little bit of trouble here with the Mazda and Watkins GLEN, it looks like. He's sitting down in a P12 right now. Only 4 minutes down in this race. We have plenty of laps to go here. Checking in with Method, starting to run away a little bit on the soft tire there. 2 seconds separating him and Tinsley. Tinsley starting to come under pressure from Rosario now. Barely half a second separating both of those drivers. We have Tinsley, Rosario, Sweaty, and Bottlefed all coming out of the chute and into the toe now. Tinsley still sitting out in P2. He's got a half-second gap separating him and Rosario. We see Sweaty running a little bit wide there through the toe. Bottlefed wants to have a peek up the inside. He's not able to get enough speed to make it happen. He's going to slot back up into the slipstream there, have a little peek along the inside again as they come up to the heel. Not enough room for him to be able to make a move, so he's going to stay in P5 for right now. All three drivers line up, come through the heel and into the final series of corners now. Nosfox trying to make his way back up to that pack. He's sitting down in P6 with a bit of a gap between him and everybody else. Jenny making a move around SoCal right there, making her way up into P7. SoCal holding the inside line though. Jenny pushing a little bit wide, is able to hold on to that P7 now. She's got SoCal all over the bumper right there, going side by side with Williams. They both go into the final sweeper there, up into the final corner. Looks like Williams going to hold on to P8, knock SoCal down into P9. Drop Stackenyak back down into P10. Now we got Wieglip trying to get in on the fight, starting to put the pressure on Stackenyak. Check back in with the top of the field. Method still on the soft tire, getting a little bit more distance between himself and Tinsley. Real action happening down here in a P2 right now as we got Tinsley still only a half second ahead of Rosario, who himself only barely half a second ahead of Sweaty Palms. Half second separating Sweaty Palms and a Bottlefed. Let's have a look at Sweaty Palms. He has a peek along the inside as they get ready to come up to the infield. Decides he doesn't have enough room. He's going to come back over and stay in fourth place for right now. Gets a much better exit out of the bus stop than Rosario does. He's staying all over the bumper from him as they come along the outer loop now. Well, drivers heavy on the anchors as they come into the chute and out of it into the toe. Still have Tinsley sitting out in front, still under pressure from Rosario. Rosario with pressure from Sweaty, and Sweaty with pressure from Bottlefed. As you can see in the background there, we got Nosfox still chomping at the bit, trying to close that delta as much as he can. He's hoping for a few more battles up there so he can try to close that delta a little bit. Even going purple so far, he should be able to take fast lap if he holds on to it here. He doesn't have any traffic contend within front, so he should be able to run a clean fast lap. That'll also help him drop that delta between himself and a Bottlefed. So Williams making his way up into P7 now. Jenny in P8. Got SoCal getting a little squirrely coming out of the heel there. He's going to go side by side with Stackenyak, but SoCal's going to hold on to the inside line. Stacken diving back in behind him to hold the inside line as well. Stacken at P10. And Wieglip still putting the pressure on Stackenyak back there in a P11. And then checking in with Merch. Merch starting to close the delta a little bit between himself and Wieglip, now starting to find some pace in that Victory Pace Racing Mazda. The Method still sitting far out in front, 3.5 seconds now. Tinsley really starting to feel the pressure from Rosario, 0.4 of a second separating both those drivers. Now that gap closes ever more. We got Sweaty Palm still losing a little bit of space there, but still less than a second separating him and Rosario now. But with Bottlefed still staying within the slipstream, Bottlefed in P5 trying to have a look at P4 as soon as he can. It can take a second to breathe. This race is awesome. Four drivers lean through the bus stop there. Tinsley, Rosario, Sweaty, Bottlefed, P2, 3, 4, 5 respectively, still holding on. Bottlefed getting a great exit out of the outer loop there. As a peak along the inside, but Sweaty, he's going to take the inside line there. Sweaty holds on to the outside line. Bottlefed makes his way up into P4 with clean move through the chute. Sweaty gets knocked down into P5. Fantastic move from Bottlefed there. Next target is Rosario, sitting less than a second ahead in a P3. Bottlefed even going a purple through that one. Incredible racing from him. Sweaty Palm sitting in a P5. Nosfox now less than 2 seconds separating. He's starting to find some pace there in his Mustang. Sweaty Palm still all over the shop behind Bottlefed. He's trying to get that P4 back. He's not very happy that he went too wide there through the chute. He lost it to the inside. 1.6 seconds though for Nosfox. He's really starting to pick up the pace there in the Mustang and close that gap. Let's check back in with the top of the grid going down. We got Method on the soft tire, 4 seconds ahead of the rest of the field now. With Tinsley less than a half a second separating him and Rosario. We've got Rosario under incredible pressure from Bottlefed now. Bottlefed right on the bumper of Rosario as they come out of the 90 and up into the S's. We get the fast back straightaway coming up. Bottlefed should be able to slide into the slipstream here. So much so I'm curious. I'm going to hop on board with Bottlefed, see what kind of move he's going to try and make here as they come out of the S's onto the back straightaways. They barrel down into the bus stop. Bottlefed backing off, thinks better of it. Doesn't want to try to make a move through the bus stop. Can be tricky and dangerous. He's going to back off. Plenty of racing left to go. Not even 10 minutes gone in the race yet. Still plenty of time for him to be able to get around Rosario here if he needs to. Speaking of, looks like he's having a little bit of look up an inside line again, hoping another driver's going to push wide through the chute there. Speaking of, we hop on board with Tinsley. Tinsley collecting a little bit of grass coming out of the chute there, is able to hold on to P2, but now he's coming under extreme pressure from Rosario as we got 3 drivers here, bumper to bumper to bumper, battling for P2. Tinsley running a little bit wide out of the chute, giving Rosario the opportunity to get all up in the slipstream. Rosario's going to have a look along the inside, go side by side through the heel. Rosario a little bit more speed through it. They're going to come side by side out of the heel. Tinsley running a little bit wide out of it, trying to keep a little bit of space, it looks like. Not sure if there's contact. We go side by side through another corner again. Tinsley keeping the inside line there. He's going to hold on to P2 for now. Just barely with Rosario touching the bumper there as they come up into the fast sweeping left and up to the final corner here. Go side by side through the final corner. Rosario trying to look along the outside. It's not going to be able to make that work. Tinsley getting a little bit better exit, starting to put a little bit of breathing room between himself and Rosario. Bottlefed all over the bumper of Rosario there now. Let's see what Bottlefed's going to do back there in the foreground. He's going to go ahead and line up and watch Rosario try to battle with Tinsley. All 3 drivers coming out of the 90 up through the S's now. They're getting ready to come onto the back straightaway. I'm going to hop on board with Rosario all over the bumper here. Let's see what kind of slip he's going to get. Is he going to try to make a move along Tinsley here? So Tinsley protecting the inside line on that track, not really giving anybody any space to make a move around. Well done to him defending. He's going to hold on P2 through the bus stop. He's giving Rosario an opportunity to defend and get from the Bottlefed. He's going to hold on P3. A little bit of breathing room separating him and Bottlefed now. Now you got Sweaty Palms coming back into the fight now. We're starting to pack up here again. It looks like we got Tinsley out in P2, Rosario in P3 running a little wide there. Bottlefed having a little bit of a look along the inside. We're going to have a drag race here as we come up to the heel. Bottlefed's going to have the inside line for this corner. Bottlefed once again trying to take that inside line from another driver. He isn't able to hold on to it. Rosario tries to get the old switcheroos, not able to hold on to that one. Bottlefed protecting the inside line of another corner. He's going to be able to take P3 away from Rosario. Rosario dropping down into P4 now. And Sweaty Palms still in the back of the shop there, less than a half second separating him and Rosario now. So Tinsley starting to find a little bit of breathing room between himself and the rest of the pack. He's got 7/10 of a second separating him and Bottlefed. Bottlefed with a little bit of breathing room between him and Rosario. Sweaty Palms coming in P5, Nosfox in P6. This battle is non-stop with these drivers. I got to check in with the rest of the field, though. We've got Williams watching the action unfold here down in P7. He's got Weeglip making his way up into P8 now. SoCal in P9. Jenny in P10 making her way around Stag. Yak having a look along the inside, though, in the GTR. He's staying all over the bumper of Jenny right there. Jenny defending the inside lines there. Stagnac trying everything he can to try to find a different line to make a move around here. A little bit of a bump draft there from Stagnac on Jenny. Jenny running a little bit wide. That's giving Yak the opportunity to take the inside line, finding a little bit more grip on those soft tires. He's going to make his way inside of Jenny there and take P10 away, knocking her down into P11. Meanwhile, we've got Merch still down in P12. 15-second gap turning into a 23-second gap, trying to find whatever pace he can in that Mazda. Not even 14 minutes down in this race, though. 46 minutes left to go. Starting on the medium tire, he should be able to get some undercuts here once people start pitting. So let's check back in with Method. We haven't done that in a little while. 6 seconds separating him and Tinsley. With Method starting on the soft tire, he's finding a little bit better entries and exits into the corners. Some of the other drivers are here. Tinsley now with 1 second gap separating him and Bottlefed. Bottlefed starting to come under pressure from Rosario again. Rosario all over the back bumper of Bottlefed. Both those drivers come through the final corner onto the front straightaway now. Rosario backing off just a bit. Still half second gap separating him and Bottlefed. Now we got Nosfox trying to join the fray as well. 1 second separating him and Rosario. Sweaty Palms coming up in a P-Steve right now, less than a second separating him and Nosfox. Sweaty Palms been flying the Fox 2 real concept there. He's got a 2-second gap between him and Williams. Williams starting to come under pressure from Weeglip now. Both drivers running in 9-11 here. We've got Weeglip going purple again through the first sector here. So far sitting on the honors of the fastest lap, 146 flat. Weeglip starting to put a lot of pressure on Williams with drivers coming into the chute now. Williams picks up a half-second penalty coming out of the outer loop. So Weeglip should be able to take P7 here away from Williams. Williams running a little bit wide there, coming into the toe. Unfortunately, ghosting exists for penalties. Weeglip able to take the P7 away from Williams. So Williams dropping down to P8 from the penalty, checking the rest of the field. We've got SoCal P9 stacking in P10. Jenny still sitting in P11. We've got Merch. No change to his delta, still sitting in P12 for right now. And Method's going to be the first one going into the pits. Those soft tires giving up already. We got Tinsley coming out of the final corner, kissing the wall right there. That's going to cost him quite a bit of time now. Bottlefed closing that delta. Bottlefed still defending off of Rosario. Tinsley running a little bit wide there again. Does keep it on the curb though. 3/10 of a second separating him and Bottlefed. Tinsley moving up into P1. We've got Bottlefed P2. Rosario still all over the bumper of Bottlefed, moving up into P3. Nosfox P4. We've got Sweaty in P5. Weeglip moving up to P6. Williams P7. Safe to say everybody but Merch got an undercut on Method there. And even then, Merch is going to close that gap to him and Method quite a bit. Merch doing a fantastic job with his tire savings so far. Still over half of his racing medium tires left. Same cannot be said for Tinsley. His racing mediums are starting to give up more and more with each passing lap. As we look back here, we got Bottlefed and Rosario going side by side coming into the toe. We got back with these guys just in time. Rosario giving Bottlefed a taste of his own move, taking the inside line through the toe there, making his way up into P2, knocking Bottlefed down into P3. We still have Nosfox and Sweaty Palms battling it out back there Nosfox in P4, Sweaty in P5. Sweaty having a look along the inside here. He wants to have the inside line coming into the heel, not able to hold as much speed as he wants to, so Nosfox can be able to hold on to P4 for right now. Sweaty's still holding on to P5. As you can see, Wegleb making his way around Williams there, making his way up to P Steve. 2.5 seconds separating him and Sweaty. Sweaty's still all over the back bumper of Nosfox there. Still got Bottlefed sitting in a P3, Rosario in P2, Tinsley sitting in a P1 right now. Merch knocking that delta from 23 seconds to a 14-second split. Now with the Method on the medium tires, not going to have as much pace as he had. We're going to see those lap times suffer a little bit. We got Jenny in P10. She's going to make her way around Stacking Yak here, it looks like. Yak's going to go ahead and dive into the pits. It can be a tricky pit lane. You can't assume that another driver's just going for an apex there. So Jenny getting an undercut on several drivers as we have Williams, Bottlefed, Nosfox, Wegleb, and Yak all diving into the pits now. Merge coming around the final corner here in the Victory Pace Racing Mazda. Let's see what kind of undercut he's going to get himself. So Merch making his way up to P10, coming around the 90 right now as other drivers are coming out of the pits and see what kind of speed he's going to carry against them. So he should be able to get around Wegleb here. He does make his way up into P9. Just like that, Merch going from P12 to P9 because of pit undercuts. A little bit of fuel saving and tire saving can go a long way in some of these races. We got Wegleb dropping down to P10, Williams in P11, Stacking Yak in P12 now. Let's check in with the top of the grid order now. Tinsley under incredible pressure, running wide there out of the heel. Rosario all over the back bumper there. Let's see if Tinsley's going to pick up a penalty running wide. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he was able to let off just in time there, but still less than half of a second separating him and Rosario. Rosario down in P2, finding a great amount of time now between him and Sweaty. SoCal down in a P4, Jenny in a P5. Medium tires nearly giving up. Traction control light screaming at her. We got Method making his way up into P6 now. Bottlefed in a P7, Nosfox P8. Got Wegleb P9, Williams in P10, Merch in P11. We got Stacking Yak in a P12. So we need to stay out front here with the battle for P1 as we got Rosario still trying to find his way around Tinsley somewhere. When he goes side by side through the S, he's going to slot back in behind and come out of the S's onto the straightaway. Decides he wants to go side by side down the straightaway here. Tinsley's going to have the inside line coming into the bus stop here. It's all going to be a matter of who decides to break first. Looks like Rosario's going to go ahead and let Tinsley through. Tinsley getting a little squirrely coming through the bus stop. Holds on to that Mercedes, keeps it clean, and holds on to P1 for right now as they come out of the bus stop and down into the outer loop. 0.3 of a second now separating him. Rosario backing off just a little bit to avoid any kind of issues going into the bus stop. Drivers hard on the brakes as they come through the chute now. Both of them keeping it neat and tidy on the apexes and pushing it wide up onto the curbing. Still 0.3 of a second separating Tinsley and Rosario. Sweaty starting to make his way up to the fray as well. 3 seconds separating here. Tinsley running a little bit wide. Rosario getting a little bit of a better exit, it looks like. That delta dropping 0.2 of a second. 0.1 of a second. Is Rosario going to make an inside move? It looks like we're going to have another inside move here from Rosario. He does make it. I'm not sure if we had contact there. Tinsley holding on to P1 for right now. He keeps the inside line through that hairpin. Still has Rosario all over the back bumper there. Sweaty now 2.5 seconds behind off of both of these drivers' battle, giving him an opportunity to close that delta between the front runners. Tinsley still trying to protect the apex there. Rosario still all over the back bumper, gets a little bit of a better exit coming out of the final corner. We've got Rosario making another look along the inside there. Both drivers coming into the 90. Rosario wanting that inside line. Tinsley protecting it somewhat. Runs it all the way out to the curbing. Still going to hold on to P1 here. Incredible defending from Tinsley as he holds on to P1 out of the 90, coming up into the S's now. Rosario still sitting down in P2, resigned now with a half second separating him. So no opportunity to have a look along the inside here. And Sweaty Palms now less than 2 seconds separating him and Rosario. SoCal making his way up in P4. We still got Jenny in P5. Front medium tire nearly completely gone. We've got Method on a fresh set of mediums here in a P6. Bottlefed in a P7, less than a second separating him and Nosfox in P8. Now we got Weeglip in P9, still sitting ahead of Williams, who's in P10. Stachynac down in P11, quite a bit of breathing room on either side of him. He's got Merch behind him now, 15 seconds separating him and Stachynac. Merch still running on the same set of tires, the same fuel that he started the race with. Tire saving and fuel saving could come to play and help him out here in the later stages of the race. Rosario, though, making his way around Tinsley. Rosario getting up into P1. Tinsley less than a second behind now in P2, and Delta is dropping now 7/10 of a second. 8/10 of a second. And now Sweaty Palms 1.2 seconds behind, that gap dropping between him and P2. Even more so every time we check in with him. Sweaty Palms, Tinsley, SoCal, Jenny, all diving into the pits. Method getting an undercut on everybody else this time, staying in P2. We got Rosario staying out in a P1. Fuel Light screaming at him. Is going to have to pit within the next lap or two. With Method coming out with more fuel and fresh tires, he should be able to get himself an undercut on Rosario and take P1 back. We've got Tinsley coming out of the pits now, sitting in a P3. Bottlefed coming out of the 90, carrying a little bit more speed now. He's sitting in P4. Nosfox not far behind, sitting in a P5. We got Weegler making his way up into P6, staying as close as he can to Nosfox, not trying to lift that slipstream, get away from him. We got Williams down in P7, not far behind. We've got Sweaty Palms down in P8, stacking in a P9. We got SoCal in P10. We've got Jenny in P11 and the Flying Fox Lexus. And we got BPR Merch in P12, still running out on the same setup that he started with. See that delta dropping between Rosario and Method, 20 seconds dropping down to 18 seconds, and it gets less and less with each passing second. Method, fresh set of tires, is able to find a little bit more speed to get to and out of the corners than Rosario is able to. He's got himself a 13-second gap between him and Tinsley. It looks like we're going to have ourselves a battle for P3 hotting up here anytime. Tinsley running a little bit wide there again, coming out of the toe. Still has over a second gap between himself and Bottlefed. Bottlefed coming under pressure from Nosfox now. Less than half a second separating both these drivers. Everyone taking the inside line there. No need to defend. No one making any moves right now. Still a half second separating Bottlefed and Nosfox. Half second separating Nosfox and Weegler. Rosario into the pits. Method getting the undercut as predicted. Let's see what's going to happen with the rest of the field here. Tinsley going to get himself an undercut, moving up to the P2. We got Bottlefed going to get the undercut, making his way up to P3. Nosfox, Weeglip. Nosfox, Weeglip. Is Weeglip going to get the cut? Just barely gets the undercut on Rosario there. So Weeglip making his way up to P5. Rosario dropping down into P6. Several drivers getting their undercut. There we go. Williams in P7. Sweaty in a P8. Still trying to put the pressure on Williams. Stachynac not far behind in P9. SoCal in P10. Jenny in P11. And VPR Merch now finally diving into the pits. Rounding out our grid in P12, checking in with Method. He's 13 seconds ahead of the rest of the field now. Running on the medium tire, however, we got Tinsley on the softer compound. Is going to get a little bit more grip. Better entries and exits out of the corners there. Tinsley's got himself a nearly 2-second gap between him and a Bottlefed. Bottlefed starting to feel the pressure from Nosfox now. As Bottlefed goes a little bit wide through the toe there, Nosfox trying to close that gap as much as he can. Look at the foreground there. We got Weeglip sitting in a P5. He's starting to come under pressure from Rosario now. Rosario coming out of the pits on a fresh set of soft tires. Rosario should have a little bit more time coming into and out of the corners than a Weeglip is. 27 minutes gone in this race already, Non-stop action so far in the Pro-Am lobby. Tinsley getting all kinds of support in the chat. We love to see it, everybody. We said if you're new here, welcome to the Sigma GT Challenge. It is sponsored by Six Sigma Sim Racing. They're putting up some fantastic prizes for our podium winners in each of the 3 lobbies, the AMs, the Pro-Ams, and the Pro lobbies. Head on over to the website. We popped it down there in the old chat for you. Give them a little bit of love, give them a little bit of traffic, tell them we sent you. While you're at it, go ahead and join our Discord. It's a quick, and we welcome you with open arms. Rosario's still sitting in P6, all over the back bumper of Weiglev there, still able to get a little bit better entry and exit in these corners, but he's not able to find anywhere to make a move around Weiglev there. Weiglev defending that P5 on the medium tires while trying to mount an attack on Nosbox's P4. Nosfox is just a second gap separating him and a bottle fed now. Let's check in with Method here. Method with an 11-second gap that has lost 2 seconds between him and Tinsley. Tinsley on the soft tire. Going purple now as well by 0.3 of a second. Could be taking fastest lap again here. Running a 1:45.7 for the best fast lap so far. Let's stay on board with Tinsley here as he gets ready to come through the next sector and see what kind of times he's running. Through the hairpin, onto the straight, getting ready to cross the sector line. Still 0.3 of a second up. We're going to follow with him through these last 2 corners here. Comes through the sweeping left-hander, up into the final corner now. The 4th gear launches his car all the way up to the wall. So Tinsley with a fast lap time here. He's going to set a 1:45.3, nearly 0.4 of a second faster than his previous fast lap time, and knocking that 11-second delta down to a 10-second delta between himself and Method in the process. We still have Bottle Fed down in P3. He's getting a little bit more breathing room between himself and Nosfox. Nosfox starting to come under pressure from Rosario. Rosario finally making that move around Weiglev here. Nosfox P4. Rosario P5, Weiglev P6, all drivers less than a second apart from each other. Rosario's all over the bumper of Nosfox. Nosfox not quite getting the bus stop right. Rosario carrying a lot more speed through the outer loop here. He's having a look along the outside. He's not going to be able to make that stick in time. He's going to dive along the inside here as both drivers come into the chute. Nosfox comes over to defend the apex, does have enough room to do so. Nosfox holding on to P4 for right now, defending with everything that this Mustang has. Rosario once again all over the back bumper of Nosfox, still sitting in at P5. So Rosario getting a little bit of a better exit. He's having a look along the inside already as they come out of the toe, down the straightaway into the heel. Rosario trying to have a look along that inside line. Rosario a little bit later on the brakes. Rosario getting that inside line and the pass, takes P4 away and drops drops Nosfox down into P5. And now Weiglev having a look along the inside of Nosfox. He's going to take P5 away. Nosfox losing 2 positions through 2 corners there. Gonna have to settle for 6th place, as you can see sweaty palms there in the background as well, trying to join in on the fight. Incredible driving from everybody here tonight. We've got Williams still sitting in P8 with healthy gap on either side of him. Stackenyak now under pressure from SoCal. Another battle that I want to stay with here. We haven't had too much action in the back part of the field here. Now we got SoCal less than a half second behind up Stackenyak. Still a half second separated with the drivers now as they get ready to come into the 90. SoCal, 0.3 of a second, trying to find the slipstream coming through the S's onto the back straightaway here. 0.2 of a second. Stackenyak holding on to P9, defending in the Victory Pace Racing GTR. SoCal in the Aston, trying to find his way around somehow on Stackenyak right here. Both drivers running soft tires. SoCal with a little bit more compound than what Yak is working with here. Now Yak getting some love in the chat. It's a great defending from Stackenyak there. SoCal running a little bit wide through the grass there. Let's see if he's going to pick up the Wrath of Kaz there. You see him swirling a little bit there, trying to clean those tires coming into the toe. And a car going a little sideways there. A little bit of dirty tire that is going to cost him now. Half second drops down to 1.1 seconds. All the work that SoCal had done to close the gap, he will have to redo now. Jenny sitting in a P11. She's got a 2-second gap separating her and SoCal. We got Merch still rounding out our grid down in a P12. 8 seconds now separating Method and Tinsley. Tinsley finding a little bit better pace with a little bit better compound on his tires. Tinsley running away all well. 5-second gap separating him and Rosario. Rosario making his way up through the field now. Rosario P3 off that picking himself up. Half-second penalty along the way there to the track limit somewhere. Got Winglet down to P5, Nosfox P6, and Sweaty Palms in P7. You know, we're going to stay with Rosario here for a little bit because he keeps making moves every time we get off him to go watch other people make moves. It's just getting absolutely insane right now. Rosario's still sitting in P3. He's got a second gap to him and Bottlefed. Bottlefed in P4. Still in a P5, we got Nosfox P6. Sweaty now trying to get a little bit closer there, closing that gap to him and Nosfox. Sweaty sitting in P7. He's got a 4-second gap between him and Williams, so nothing to worry about behind. Sweaty can do nothing, focus on attacking. He tries to have a look on the inside. Nosfox defends, goes a little bit wide through the corners. We've got a little bit of a contact there between Sweaty and Nosfox. Sweaty taking the inside line, moves over to the outside to get a little bit better entry and exit into the corner. Sweaty Palms taking the inside line on Nosfox. Some contact, nothing major. Nosfox able to hold on to the car, but does have to concede. P6 there, he's going to drop down into P7. We got Williams sitting at P8. Stagnac makes his way up into P9, still defending against SoCal. SoCal not able to make his way around. We see Jenny not far behind there. Jenny watching the battle unfold. She tries to inch her way closer to that battle as well. Meanwhile, we still have Merch running out of grid in P12. Method still losing time to Tinsley. 8 seconds, dropping down to a 6-second gap and dropping it yet. Tinsley with better tire and fuel than Method right now. Tinsley, that 5-second gap dropped to a 4-second gap between him and Rosario. Rosario's trying to find a little bit of distance between him and Bottlefed. Bottlefed's in a P4, Weekland in P5. Sweaty in P6, and we've got Nosfox in P7, so it looks like drivers starting to spread out a little bit. It only took 35 minutes of racing for it to happen. 35 minutes gone, less than 25 minutes to go in the Pro-Am lobby at Watkins Glen. Williams, comfortable P8 right now. He's got a 2-second gap between himself and Stagnac. Stagnac, though, still under pressure from SoCal. We're going to stay along here with this battle as it's the closest one happening right now. SoCal still putting pressure on Yak. Those drivers come through the chute. SoCal running a little bit wider there, gets out of the dirty air from Stagnac. SoCal has a look along the inside as they get ready to come through the toe. Stagnac moving over to defend. Defends the apex, holds on to P9. SoCal sliding back in behind. Has another look along the inside. He's not going to have enough time to make this move. SoCal hard on the anchors there. Slots in again behind Stagnac. No time to make a move along the inside here. Stagnac still holding on to P9. SoCal getting a little squirrely coming out of the hairpin there. Is able to hold on to it, not letting Yak get too far away. Still less than a half second separating both the drivers there. It looks like Yak's giving up and he's going into the pits. Gives SoCal opportunity to take P9. Jenny's going to make her way up into P10. Victory Pace Racing's Merch rounding out our grid in the P12 with the hive of bees under the hood of the Mazda there. 5 seconds now separating Rosario. Then we got Tinsley making his way up into P2. Rosario still sitting his way into P3. We got Bottlefed still sitting in P4. Weeglip in P5. Sweaty in P6. Nosfox in P7. Williams in P8. And now with SoCal and Jenny in P9 and 10. Yak still trying to make his way out of the pits. Merckx not able to get an undercut on Yak, but is going to drop quite a bit of time between himself and P11. Now 4 seconds separating Tinsley and Method. That time still dropping. Method's medium tires still not giving him as much grip as Tinsley Softs, but Tinsley Softs starting to give up a little bit quicker now. As you can see, Tinsley running a little bit wide coming out of the heel there. Tinsley hard on the anchors as he comes through the hairpin now. Still running a little bit wide. Still running a 10th off of his best time, but Rosario coming through with a 145 flat. Takes fast lap now. Rosario sitting in P3, still has a 3-second gap separating him and Rosario. We've got Bottlefed in P4 now coming under pressure from Weeglip. Weeglip sitting in P5. Now Weeglip all over the back bumper of Bottlefed there. So Weeglip having a look along the inside, coming down the front straightaway into the 90. And Weeglip's going to go ahead and make an easy, clean move along the inside. Bottlefed going to have a little switcheroo here. Not quite able to make a switch happen. He is wanting to have a look along the insides. They come up through the S's. Weeglip's going to go ahead and come over and defend on that, but Bottlefed still touching bumpers there with Weeglip as they come out of the S's and onto the back straightaway. Bottlefed having a look along the outside here as Weeglip makes his move along the inside to defend as they get ready to go into the bus stop here. Weeglip still sitting in a P4, Bottlefed in P5. Now Sweaty Palms closing the gap between him and Bottlefed. Sweaty Palms in P6, he's got less than a half second separating him and Bottlefed. Weeglip running a little bit wide up onto the curb there. Doesn't look like he's going to incur the rapid cast. He's going to hold on to P4 on the penalty. Bottlefed still in P5, Sweaty still in P6. Barely a second separating these three drivers here. Let's check in up front. You know that delta was dropping and it's still dropping. We got 2.5 seconds separating Method and Tinsley right now. Tinsley still got a 3-second gap between him and Rosario. Rosario is pulling ahead of Weeglip. Weeglip is defending with everything he's got right now. Same with Bottlefed. Bottlefed trying to attack and defend. Really eating through those medium tires. Weeglip, Bottlefed, Sweaty Palms coming through the hairpin now through the final series of corners. Drivers coming through the final corner now onto the front straightaway and they change positions down. Weeglip in 4th, Bottlefed in 5th, Sweaty Palms in 6th. Checking in with the rest of the field, we got Knotsbox in P7, we got Williams in P8, crossing the line starting at 23rd lap here. SoCal in 9, Jenny still in P10, Yak dropping down to P11, running wide there, coming out of the heel. Stacking the X and pick up a half-second penalty, running wide there, coming out of the heel corner. They'll presumably trying to warm up with those cold, soft tires. We still got Merckx sitting down in up P12 right now. He's going to pick himself up some fresh, soft tires. Looks like Merckx going for a one-stop strategy here tonight. 20 minutes left to racing and see how it's going to pay off for him. Still losing time to Tinsley now. Less than 2 seconds separating them here. Method with fuel light absolutely screaming. Medium tires still holding up. Tinsley though, soft tires about to give up the ghost here in just a couple of laps. And Rosario starting to close that delta now. 3 seconds dropping down to a 2-second gap. But in the same position as Tinsley with those soft tires starting to let go a little bit quicker than the medium tires are. We got Weeglip sitting down in P4, also with fuel light shouting at him. Now we got Sweaty Palms making a move along the inside, out of the heel. He's going to take P5 away from Bottlefed. To Sweaty, still able to hold on to P5 as they come out of the hairpin. Bottlefed not able to hold on to the inside line. Bottlefed dropping down into P6. Method finally diving into the pits, giving Tinsley, Rosario opportunity to get the undercut, make their way up to P1 and P2. We got Weeglip. Weeglip now diving into the pits. We got Sweaty Palms diving into the pits. Bottlefed into the pits. So several drivers diving into the pits here, presumably for the last time, as we've got 18 minutes of racing left here. Tinsley making his way out into P1, soft tires virtually all but gone. Rosario, same thing said for him, sitting in P2. We got Nosfox in P3, medium tires, he's in P3. Method now coming out of the pits. He's going to be one in P4, it looks like. Williams going to come out of the pits in P5 here. Sweaty Palms right on the bumper in P6. Stackenyak trying to get an undercut on as many drivers as he can. Looks like Stackanyak's going to get an undercut on several of them. He's going to make his way up into P7. He's going to go side by side with Bottlefed. He's carrying more speed though. He's able to get around Bottlefed. Bottlefed coming out of the pits in P8. Got Williams down in P9. SoCal P10. Jenny dropping down into P11. She's on fresh set of softs and fuel. Bird still sitting in P12. Battle brewing up in the front for P1. Looks like both of them are going to dive into the pits. Tinsley, well, looks like both of them might have ran a little wide there going into the pits. We'll have to see when they come out. Fox looks like also going into the pits here as well. Let's see what kind of deltas we're going to get here, what kind of undercuts we're going to get. This Method coming through the penultimate into the final corner here. He's going to come onto the front straightaway. Rosario, Tinsley, Fox still sitting in the pits. Looks like we got one driver on the move. Two drivers on the move. Method carrying more speed out of the pits here than the other drivers. Method making his way back up into P1. Tinsley drops down to P2. Rosario all over the back bumper of Tinsley. Rosario in a P3. No pressure behind him. We've got Wieglip coming out of the 90s just now. He's sitting in P4 under pressure from Sweaty Palm. Sweaty sitting in a P5. Yak coming out of the pits. He's in P6. We've got Bottlefed coming out of the pits right behind. He's in P7. Williams in P8, SoCal and Nosfox going side by side through the S's. SoCal holds on to P9, Nosfox in P10. We got Jenny sitting down in P11. BPR Merch down in P12. Method with a 2-second gap, fresh set of soft tires. Rosario, same situation, fresh softs. Sitting in P2, under pressure from Tinsley. Less than a half second separating both drivers. Tinsley in P3. No pressure behind Tinsley right now. He's got almost 10-second gap separating him and Wieglip, who's in 4th place. We've got Rosario sitting in P2. Tinsley sitting in the slipstream, coming out of the heel, getting ready to go into the toe. Not going to be able to make a move along the inside happen here. Rosario's going to hold on to P2 through the heel. Both drivers coming out up into the final hairpin. Tinsley runs wide though, coming out of the heel. We've seen drivers pick up a half-second penalty, running a little bit too wide there. It looks like Tinsley's not going to incur the wrath of Kaz, but does get a little bit slideways there coming out of that hairpin and into the penultimate corner here. Is holding on to it, not letting Rosario get too far away. Still only 3/10 of a second separating both drivers here. Tinsley getting a little squirrely again now. He's losing a little bit of time. Tinsley's trying to stay in the slip of Rosario. 3/10 of a second, still unchanged between these two drivers now. Let's check in with the rest of the field real quick. Wieglip, of course, still under a little bit of pressure from Sweaty Palms in P5. Stackenyak now under pressure from Bottlefed, less than a half second separating him now. Got Bottlefed in P7. You see Williams back there in P8. And we still have the battle between the SoCal and Nosfox getting ready for here for 9 and 10. Jenny in P11 and Merch diving into the pits for a little bit more fuel, a little splash and dash for the rest of the race here. Nice gap between him and Wieglip. Wieglip is starting to pick up the pace a little bit. 9 seconds turning to an 8-second gap now separating him and Tinsley. But Sweaty Palm still not letting Wieglip get away. Less than a second separating both of these drivers now. Stackenyak still back in the field. P6. He's got a good gap between him and a Bottlefed, who's got a nice healthy gap between him and a Williams. We still have Nosfox and SoCal here with less than a half second separating both of these drivers. It looks like Nosfox starting to close that gap a little bit here. Both drivers on fresh, soft tires now. SoCal going to go ahead and come on to P9 through the back half of the track here. Nosfox P10, Jenny in P11. We got Merch. Merch, a little bit of an issue coming into the toe. He's going to pick up some front end damage, unfortunately. He's going to go ahead, whip those bees under the bonnet back into shape, get back on track, and finish this bad boy out. Method still 2 seconds ahead of Rosario now. Rosario still under pressure from Tinsley, still 4/10 of a second with separating these drivers. Incredible driving from our Pro-Am lobby here tonight in the Sigma GT Challenge. Round 5 of the GLEN. Tinsley going purple now. Tinsley picking up the slipstream back behind Rosario, helping him try to gain a little bit more time there. Rosario still holding on to the fast lap with 145 flat. Tinsley having a look along the inside, decides to think better of it. He's going to slide in behind Rosario, still holding on to that P3, not letting Rosario get too far away. Still less than half a second separating both of these drivers. Tinsley still going purple through the last sector line there, nearly a 10th, staying right on the bumper of Rosario in a 10th of a second, separating both drivers now. Rosario still holding on to P2. Tinsley right on the bumper there in P3, runs all the way right, hits, touches the wall, goes sideways, able to hold on to the car and keep it pointing straight. All the hard work Tinsley had done throughout the last few laps, just undone with one move there now. Rosario over a second ahead. Tinsley picking up a little bit of front end damage there from his contact with the wall. Unfortunately, is going to lose him a little bit of top end, and coming onto the front straightaway is not the place he wanted to lose any of that damage and any of that momentum. Is now Rosario 1.1 seconds ahead, that delta increasing ever so slightly. Tinsley monstering it through the infield there, kicking up dust. Let's see if it managed to hold on to track limits. He does. No Wrath of Kaz. Now less than a second separating him and Rosario. Sweaty Palm still sitting in P4. He's got Weeglib now starting to close that gap. Less than a second separating him and Weeglib. Weeglib, though, with a nice bit of distance between him and a bottle fed. Williams sitting in P7. We got Stagnac in P8. SoCal still sitting in P9. Nosfox still in P10. And Jenny still in P11. And Merch getting the car pointed in the right direction. Again, pushing that Mazda as hard as he can. Finish off this race, which we have less than 10 minutes to go. Still have Method out in front. He's got to love that action happening behind him. It's keeping Rosario from pushing. Rosario having to defend to hold on to P2 here from Tinsley. Tinsley still less than a second behind. Tinsley going to hold on to it through the final corner here. Looks like he is this time. Well done to you, Tinsley. Still less than a second separating you and Rosario. Tinsley sitting on podium right now in P3. We got Sweaty Palms in P4, still under pressure a little bit. Weeglib in P5, but Sweaty taking the fastest lap time with a 1:44.9 out of nowhere. Weeglib still sitting in P5. We still got Bottlefed in P6, Williams, Yak, and SoCal 7, 8, and 9. SoCal starting to put the pressure on Stagnac there, less than a half second separating them here. I'm going to stay on board with SoCal. Tom giving some love from his teammates here in the chat. We absolutely love to see the support from everybody as we got SoCal chomping at the bit behind Victory Pace Racing, Stack, and Yak. SoCal still sitting in a P9, less than a half second separating him and Yak. Yak getting a little bit better exit through the bus stop there. Not able to hold on to it through the outer loop though. SoCal getting a much better exit there. Still less than a second separating both drivers. And now Nosfox joining the fray, less than a second separating him and SoCal. Checking in with front runners. Still got Method sitting out in front there with Rosario in P2 now, over a second separating him and Tinsley. Tinsley not able to find that pace again. Now Rosario trying to answer back with a fast lap here and stay on board with him as he gets ready to come up to the final corner and on to the front straightaway. Rosario with the fastest lap, 1:44.8. Short-lived fast lap for Sweaty there. Not able to capitalize. 1:45.3 for that last lap. Still under pressure from Weeklip. JD with the drop in, appreciate you. We got Method sitting out in front, 2 seconds ahead of Rosario. Rosario finding a little bit more of a gap there between him and Tinsley now, 1.6 seconds separating both those drivers. Tinsley sitting in P3 ahead of Sweaty Palms, who's in P4. We got Weeklip in P5, Bottlefed in P6. We got Williams in P7. SoCal sitting in a P8. Nosfox under attack right now from Stagnac. Yak down in a P10. SoCal making his way up into P8. Now Nosfox P9. Stagnac will pick up 1 second track limit penalty there. Down in P10. We got Jenny still in P11. 2 seconds separate her and Stagnac. 1 second penalty should give Jenny a great opportunity to close that delta here as we get ready to cross into the 54-minute mark. 6 minutes left in the race, everybody. We still have PPR merch down in P12, pushing that Mazda as hard as he can, not giving up the fight. We've got Method now. Less than 2 seconds, less than a second and a half actually separating him and Rosario. Rosario pushing the 911 on the soft tire as hard as he can. He wants that victory here tonight. 2 seconds now separating him and Tinsley. Rosario at the style points through the final corner there, a little bit of a drift. But Style does lose you a little bit of time now as that 2 seconds is dropping like a stone down to 1.7 seconds. So Tinsley able to catch up a little bit, and Method able to increase his delta just a little bit. Weeklip still sitting in a P5. We've got a Bottlefed here in P6, Williams in P7, SoCal in P8, Nosfox in a P9, Stagnac in P10. We've got Jenny in a P11. We've got Merch still sitting down there in P12. Let's go ahead, let's check in up front and see what's happening with everybody here. 1 second still separating a Method and Rosario. I'm going to stay on board with this battle for just a little bit. Okay, Mike's back. Method still sitting out in P1, 1 second separating him and Rosario. Tinsley down in P3, 2 seconds separating him and Rosario. We got Sweaty Palms and Weeklip P4, P5. Weeklip still putting the pressure on the Sweaty Palms. Half second separating the two drivers here. Weeklip running just a little bit wide, kicks up a little bit of dust. Isn't letting Sweaty get away though. 6/10 of a second, 7/10 of a second so far. Less than 4 minutes to go in the race here. We got Bottlefed in a P6. A little bit of action happening down in the field here, it looks like, as we got Nosfox still sitting on the bumper of SoCal. SoCal in P8, Nosfox in P9. Jenny making her way around Stagnac. Jenny making her way up to P10. Jenny with an incredible entry and exit into and out of the final corner there. The act braking hard is going to go into the pits. The act dives into the pits, needs to get a little bit more tire for the rest of the race. We got Merch. Merch coming through now. Method still sitting a second ahead of Rosario. Tinsley still sitting in P3 with good distance for himself and Sweaty. Sweaty still holding on to P4, defending everything he's got against Weeklip. Weeklip in P5. I'm sure that came through. We still have Bottlefed in P6. He's got healthy gaps on either side of him. His finishing spot here. Williams in P7. We still have Nosfox and SoCal battling it out here for P8, P9. Nosfox still in P8, SoCal still in P9. Less than 1 second separating all three drivers right now. No moves along here, it looks like. Williams running a little wide, Nosfox a little look along the outside. A little bumper contact there from Nosfox as they go into the final hairpin there. Williams holding on to that P7, Nosfox holding on to that P8. Final lap here, everybody. Let's go ahead and let's check in. GLEN diving into the pits. Jenny coming over the start finish line here and coming into the 90. Let's see what's going to happen here. And we got a yellow flag ahead. Nosfox, a little bit not sure what happened with him. We'll have to review that on the replay here after a while. Nosfox driving down into P9. GLEN is going to P8. SoCal P7. Bottlefed still in P5. So Sweaty Palms in P4. We got Tinsley in a P3. Rosario P2. All over the back bumper of Method here. Less than a second separating these two drivers now. These two are probably going to have another lap to go here. Second separating Rosario and Method. Method out front, P1. Rosario in P2. Rosario 4-second gap to Tinsley. 20 seconds left in the race. Both drivers are going to cross the start finish line and have to do one more lap here. Tinsley as well. Looks like Sweaty Palm's going to be cutting it a little closer. He might have to do himself another lap as well. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Sweaty Palm's doing one more lap. So Bottlefed's going to be the first one of our finishers here tonight, crossing after the 1 hour mark. He's going to go ahead and finish in P5. It looks like we're going to have Williams, SoCal, GLEN, and Nosfox finishing. Let's go ahead and let's check in with these two here. This is where we got our close battle happening for P1 right now. Rosario all over the bumper of Method. Method with the fuel light screaming. I'm getting a little sideways there coming through the outer loop now. Rosario keeps it tidy in the 911. Method still sitting out in P1. Both drivers coming up to the chute now, heavy on the anchors. Method running a little bit wide, but Rosario is too. Both drivers riding it out to the curb as they come out of the chute and into the toe. Method going sideways. Rosario taking P1 on the inside line. Method not able to hold on to it, dropping down into P2. Tinsley still sitting in P3. Sweaty still sitting in P4. Rosario with the inside line takes P1 from Method. It's not over yet, though. We still have 2 corners to go here. Method still less than a second behind off of Rosario. Rosario with the inside move at the last second is going to take the victory here tonight. Method taking P2. Tinsley's going to take home P3, and Sweaty will be the last one across the line here tonight. He's going to finish in P4. We got Bottlefed in P5, SoCal P6, GLEN in P7. Nosfox dropping down the field. He's going to finish in a P8. Williams in a P9. Jenny's going to finish P10. Stacking Yak in P11, and Burke's going to finish in P12 tonight. What an incredible race from the Pro-Am lobby.